All right. You guys have had enough of Tony Michaels. He's great show, but now it's time to come over here to Trucker John. All right. I'm in the car. I'm actually. I just pulled up to my apartment. To the apartment. Um, but I thought I'd go ahead and start out here. I'm going to move my way into the apartment. I just had to go and get an inspection on the car done. They do that, uh, just when it gets so many miles or for every interval of miles. I almost said Liberty Dan. Alrighty. Same for Jolie. What did I miss? Well, the gifted memberships. Oh, awesome. And there's Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Did I already say hey, Jackie? Anyhow, on the way home, I just stopped and got me a steak breakfast burrito from Del Taco. All right, because I haven't had breakfast. All I had was orange juice for breakfast, and now I'm trying to carry all this shit in. I just had a I just filled this up with orange juice and took that over with me over to the Meineke, whatever they're calling it. Uh, make sure I got everything there. Keys, wallet, phone. All right, let's go ahead. We'll make our way into. Oh no, I'm going to be spilling coffee all over myself. Let's see here. I need to change. I need to change this to this. There we go. So I mess all over myself. Guys, you don't see this on Michael's show. When does he ever spill coffee on himself? Yeah. Of course, you get more in probably educational value out of Tony Michael's show. Anyhow, here we are. It's Las Vegas morning. It was in the low 30s when I got up. I think it's still in the 30s now. It might be about 40. I don't know. I don't know if we hit 40 yet or not. But oh boy, unlocking the door may present a bit of a problem here as far as this picture is concerned. Let's see here. How am I going to do this without? Oh, jeez. All right. Well, bear with me while I unlock the door. Hopefully, you can still hear me. I don't know. I don't know what you're seeing right now because I'm holding this against my body. I guess you're just seeing my. Oh yeah, you're just seeing my sweatshirt. I guess. Okay. I know this is what everyone's been waiting for this great cinematography here. All right. Wasn't that wonderful? All right, let me get this little light in here. You guys still there? All right, so let's see here. I'm just walking around. I know it's kind of weird. Kind of a weird way to do a show, huh, or a live stream. But you know what? This is just amateur hour over here. Oh boy, I hate when the chair gets up against the wall and it leaves a mark on the wall. I really do hate that. All right, guys, how you doing? How's everybody doing this morning? Glad to see y'all. Let me move this table around or something. I don't know. Here we are. It's January 9th, 2024. And we are still in the early part of the year here. Just barely, I guess, the second week of January, huh? All right. So let me, I'm going to walk over here for a minute and get my breakfast. Hey, you guys, you get to watch me eat again. Isn't that special? You guys get to see, you have the honor and the privilege of watching me, stuff my face again. Now, I think I already ate all the I ate all the hash browns, little hash brown sticks on the way over. So you won't see me eat those. I do apologize, because some people really love to watch people eat hash brown sticks. Oh no, you know what? Hey, I spoke too soon. I didn't eat them all. There's still like 2 left. And oh my gosh. I asked, the thing is, I didn't ask for hot sauce. And then, because I always get Del Scorcho medium. And as I was, taking the bag from her, the window there, I said, "You put hot sauce in there?" And she goes, "Mm-hmm." And so I guess I was just, because I've seen sometimes where they'll grab like a giant fistful of like hot sauce packets, and usually it's Del Scorcho medium, which is what I like. Or it'll just be like this big variety, But this time all she gave me was one Del Inferno, which is the hottest one, and one mild. It's kind of weird. I think that's kind of weird. That I got, because like I said, usually they'll grab a giant handful. They'll give you like 12 packets or something, and then and they're usually the Del Scorcho mediums, or at least some of them are in there. Why is this so hard to move? Is it just because my slippers are down there and blocking it? I don't know. All right, I gotta switch out the glasses, because otherwise I'm going like this, and it's all over the place. Okay. How you guys doing? AJ, where you at today? Maybe you mentioned it, but I didn't. I wasn't able to see the entire. I haven't been able to watch all the chats, because I've been walking around, things of this nature. AJ says, "Benefit fast foods, Mexican, generous with the sauce." Yeah, I guess so. Let's see, where am I here? Let's turn this volume down on here, so we don't get an endless playback, an endless loop or whatever. And I think I'm gonna plug this in over here. And then I'm gonna go over there. And I'm gonna plug this in over there. Because otherwise, before you know it, these things will be drained of power. and then the show will just mercifully come to an end. All right, so there we are. Okay, so here's the hashtags. Oh, you know what? I got coffee still. Forgot to bring my coffee over. Can you imagine that? Let me go grab my coffee. I'll be right back. Oh, boy. Oh, that's right. I'm going to put some cream and sugar in it real quick. I didn't have them do it because I knew I was coming home and just figured I'd use my own. I got the French vanilla over here. I don't think Del Taco has French vanilla. I think they just have regular, which is fine. But, you know, since I have the French vanilla over here, I might as well just come over here, putting some sugar. There's sugar in my coffee. Sometimes I drink my coffee black, and sometimes I don't. Alrighty. Hopefully I don't spill. All right. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. I'm back. Well, I was listening to Tony Michaels on the way over here. I don't know if Wes Webb or WW is in the chat now. I haven't seen everybody, but he got a little shout out there by Tony Michaels. And I was like, yeah, Wes Webb. It's like, yeah, Wes Webb. And it was when Tony was saying that we are in not normal times. And Wes just said something like, what is normal? And Tony was like, that's a very good question, or something like that. That is the point, or something like that. Well, we got Jackie. Andrea's here. Hey, Andrea. Now, as you know, many people in the chat are what are known as sparklers. Those are fans of House Sparks, I guess we'd say. Followers of the show, of his live stream and everything. And Hal is on a travel day today. I guess he's going over to down to LA, and he's gonna, he also, performs and sings and everything else like that. So I figured, well, you guys, you need a place to hang out. I in no way, shape, or form claim to be, a replacement for Hal. I mean, I do spit my food out, and Hal doesn't do that. You don't get that at a House Spark show. But it's a place where we can hang out, and also for non-sparklers too. I mean, it's an open forum. It's open to everybody. And so welcome. There's Wes Webb. I see Wes in the chat. I heard Tony Michaels acknowledge you. That was pretty cool. Wes says, I don't want to be called a sparkler. All right. What would you like to be called? A truckster? I guess when you're in this chat, you're a truckster. I just made that up Truckster. Didn't we have a name for Trucker John followers at one point? Or I guess we were doing the Trucker John invasions instead of doing a Trucker John raid. So, could call you a driver. I don't know. That's what truck drivers call themselves, drivers. They don't really call themselves truck drivers or truckers for the most part. The nomenclature is driver. Like if you're on a CB talking to another trucker, you don't say, "Hey trucker," you say, "Hey driver," or you go, "Hey driver, looks like that looks like you got a taillight out," or "Hey driver, you know, I saw some County Mounties mile marker 98 or whatever." They call each other drivers. They don't really call each other truckers. So Jolie seems to maybe like truckster. Kind of has a ring to it. Instead of being a sparkler, you could be a truckster. West says, I just ate chili with crackers and cheese. West says, I'm not that much of a joiner. Don't need a category. Well, okay. Be that way. Wes Webb is a lone wolf. He's a lone wolf McQuaid. Or something like that. Wasn't there some kind of McQuaid? Hey, there's AJ. He says, I'm in Utah now. Last night, it got down to 11 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't mind spelling. Yeah, we got you. Uh-oh. I turned the TV on and it had full volume going on over there. They're doing a little clip for the movie Baby Driver. Did you ever see Baby Driver? I really liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good. It almost seemed like it was set up for a sequel. I wonder if they're ever going to make a sequel to it. Andrea says, I will proudly be a trucker. All right. Well, should we be trucker or trucksters? Wes says the weather map looks like it looks a little scary today. I was looking at our weather thing, and it's supposed to be kind of cold, you know, these 30 degrees overnight lows and stuff. And it has precipitation is like 1% and 2%, something like that. But then because I have 3 different weather kind of channels or whatever that I look at. But one of them was calling for like snow. I don't know if we have a 1% chance of snow or what, but I don't know. I guess it's cold enough to snow at night. I'm just not sure if we have the precipitation here right now. Let's see here. Andrew says, check Florida out. I think there is a storm coming in Florida, isn't there? Thought I saw something about that. Oh, Wes says, I did, Andrea, be safe. So there must be, yeah, must be a big storm coming into Florida, huh? Jolie says, it's just cold and relentless rain here. It's raining, huh? We had some rain here a few days ago, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't relentless. AJX1 says, I'd rather drive in snow as opposed to frozen rain. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it was just snow and, you know, you can go over that pretty good. But once it starts icing up, that's when it gets bad. West says we had rain and sleet earlier. Makes the road slick under the snow. Mm-hmm. So you gotta be careful out there. And if you can avoid driving, I suggest avoid it. If it's icy out, if you don't need to be out, then just stay home. Get the fire going, crank up the heat, get some hot chocolate going or whatever, and just get all nice and cozy, you know. Hey, there's Oliver Brownlow says the Lord must be very angry with Florida. Probably. That's there's a lot to be angry about, huh? Hello, Oliver Brownlow. I don't believe I've ever seen that screen name before. Thanks for jumping in here. West Webb says it is the same storm system from Hudson Bay to the Gulf. West Webb says we know, Oliver. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm kind of hesitant, like, if I see a new name, and I don't know if that's somebody has like 2 accounts, or if that's just a totally different person, then, you know, whatever. So I don't know, and I'm not sure if people want to talk about that, if people want to, you know, keep that on the down low, you know. But thanks for being here. In any case, it's always good to have people come in and to contribute to the chat. Basically, this is turning into just a chat show. You chat and I read your chat. That's basically what we're doing here. And the occasional watching me stuff my pie hole. Andrew says, I got to go run up to the store. Don't want to be out in this crap. Is it already raining now? Is it coming down now? Yeah, just drive carefully, get to the store, stock up on some stuff that, you know, toilet paper. It's always toilet paper. Go grab some toilet paper and some provisions. Get some Snickers bars. And this is how good of a survivalist I am. It's like, okay, toilet paper, Snicker bars, wild cherry Pepsi, and you're good. Get some matches too. Get those little wooden kind, because I think those are better. You might need some matches. I don't know. But yeah, go get some stuff. Get stocked up. Kerosene for your lanterns, I guess. For the old kerosene lanterns, and you know, what else do you need? I don't know. Maybe some crackers. Get some saltines. Wes says, it doesn't matter to me here. Sometimes it does in the Sparks room. My trolls know that I go there. Wes says, I got so much toilet paper after the shortage was over. Never wanted to run short of, think that I could. Wes says, knocking on wood, but the electricity is holding out. That's good. Andrew says, not yet, but very dark out and windy, 25, 35 miles an hour. Yeah, so yeah, you better go get some stuff and get back before it gets worse. Wes says, they don't know WW. Uh-oh. I just dropped a piece of steak somewhere. And that's not good. I don't want chunks of food on the floor. And also, it's steak. That's like it's almost like a food foul. What's this? Says Andrea has kids. Okay, so yeah, maybe get some Lucky Charms and a gallon of milk. And maybe some cat food, because I think Andrea has a bunch of cats too, right? Make sure you're stocked up. But out here, out west, I think we're just going to have some cold temperatures. It doesn't look like we have any snow or precipitation in the forecast. Last week, we did have a little bit of rain. Even held a little bit down here. I guess it was last week, and I guess over the few days that we did have a little bit of precipitation, the mountains got about a foot of snow, and they have a ski lodge up there, ski whatever you call it, and they were all happy because they had been blowing man-made snow up there, but then they got about a foot of fresh powder, so that was nice. That's nice if you're a skier. I haven't skied in a long, long time. I don't know if I could, even if I wanted to. But I have been tempted to go up and give it just go on the tiniest little bunny hill. And just, and just shred that motherfucker. No. But I probably would break a hip or something. I don't know. I don't need that. I don't need to break a hip. Darn it, I'm going to have a little grease spot on my shirt now. All right, so what's going on in the world? I guess everybody's talking about Trump and he's in court. About this immunity thing, he says, says he's entitled to, apparently. It's just kind of funny because you're not the president. And, being president doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want and get away with it. Anyhow. It was so stupid. And it is so sickening, actually, how these maggots, they want a dictatorship. They want a monarchy. They're really saying the quiet parts out loud now. And really proving, because a lot of us have been saying for a while now that that Republicans, or at least MAGA and Trump and everything, that they hate democracy. Well, now they're saying the quiet parts out loud, so it's verifying that they don't want democracy. They don't like it. Trump wants to be the dictator, and his followers and more. I don't know about more and more, but these maggots, they want to be led around. I guess they want they want to just have an authoritarian leader, and it's so strange to me. I guess because they think that they're going to be okay. That they're not going to get any of the bad treatment. That's just going to be for, you know, the people of color, or the gays, or, you know, whatever. It's not going to be them, you know, whoever they are, right? Oliver Brownlow says magnets. Magnets. Mm-hmm. That's right. He was talking about magnets and stuff. West says cities would hold all the power. Oliver Brownlow, some people want a strong daddy. Well, the sooner we get rid of Trump and MAGA, the better. West of Chicago, although it pays the overwhelming share of taxes, doesn't always act in favor of Illinois rural areas. Well, what do the rural areas want? Well, it says we have lots of rural poverty. Tell them to go get a job. I need to go get. I need to go get a little white bee thingy. I don't want this grease spot to just sit there forever and ever. Okay. So I also heard the part on Tony Michaels. He was saying that the Republican Party is dead. You know, essentially, you know, MAGA killed it, and that may or may not be true. I mean, if they get rid of if they can get rid of Trump, but whatever resurfaces, whether it's whatever party comes out of this, whether it's going to still be called the Republican Party, or whether they come up with some other new party name, and maybe it's not so MAGA-like and so, you know, Trumpian. Maybe it goes back to being more traditional type of Republican. It's still going to always be a party, whatever that party emerges as. And maybe they change some of their alliances. Maybe they're not so tied to right-wing Christian, you know, white nationalists and evangelicals and all that kind of stuff. But whatever they you know, come back as, it's the core of that party is going to still be lowering taxes for the rich to as low as possible, zero if possible, and getting rid of as many pesky regulations as possible, whether it's consumer protections, whether it's, you know, manufacturing regulations, you know, safety and health and all that kind of stuff. Those will still be the goal, the main goals. So whatever party comes out of it, you know, is going to replace the Republican Party. You know, that will still always be their number one goal, their platform. Even though they don't even bother writing platforms anymore for the Republican Party since Trump. It's just sort of a blank little. It's not even there, right? But so whatever it is, it's at the core of it, it's still going to be the same. You know, their stated goal, whether they use Trump or whether they use Bush or Reagan or whoever it is, I mean, their goal is always going to be about big business, big, you know, the big now billion-dollar corporations, getting their taxes and billionaires and things, taxes down to zero or closest to zero as possible, and eliminating pesky regulations in business, basically. So we're still always going to be, I guess, at odds with them when we want social safety nets and we want rights for marginalized groups. We're always going to be coming, it seems like, at loggerheads with this opposing group, with this opposing party, whatever it's going to be called, whether it's, like I say, Republican Party, or they come up with some other name, that will always be the crux of it. West says roads and bridges are more expensive per capita because there are few people using them, but business and farming depend on them. West Webb says Illinois Republicans look out for the rural areas and suburbs. Yeah, and I guess to the detriment to Democrats, because I don't know. Am I wrong? But doesn't it seem like, I don't know, like at some point in our past, I think within my lifetime, weren't a lot of rural people and farmers Democrats? I guess that all changed with Reagan. Maybe a lot of people flipped with this Reagan fucking bullshit. AJX1 says most truck drivers are for Trump. That is true. I would agree, AJ. And sadly, but there are more liberal, I guess, truck drivers than you might think. But yeah, I would say the overwhelming majority of truck drivers are either MAGA or just your garden variety Republican. Um, I listened to them for a long time, especially on the CB. West Webb says parks in rural areas are often neglected if the maintenance depends on state or federal tax money. Yeah, well, there's only so much money to go around, I guess. West Webb says the cities are full of poverty and need, but that doesn't mean that the rural areas should be starved. Well, like I said, there's only so much money to go around. So, um, and if you have cities in urban areas that have hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people, and then you have rural areas where people are scattered out and it's just thousands or tens of thousands. Um, I mean, I can see how the bulk of the money is going to go into those urban areas and cities because there's just so many people, and it just gets gobbled up. Those tax dollars can get gobbled up pretty quick. AJX1 says, I had a CB for a couple of months and had to take it out. Too much of a distraction and just go. Yeah, absolutely. I did that, and I told the story before about after Obama got elected. um, Especially, I mean, it was bad before, as far as like, kind of like, I used to just call them rednecks, right, or whatever, and would get in, and they would talk their shit, and they would talk, they'd be all pro, W, or whatever, and then when Obama won, I mean, you would have thought that the world was coming to an end. I mean, and I never heard the N word so much in my life. I mean, they were actually going on the CB using the N word and saying that they were going to kill that N, that N president. They were going to kill that N Obama, and by N, you know what I mean, right? The N word. Um, they were going to hang him. They were going to shoot him. Whatever. I mean, it was so bad. I ended up turning off my CB, and I only turned it on a few times after that. And then it just never got. It seemed like it never really got better. And I kind of miss the CB because the CB is good. Like if what it's intended for, basically, is if there's a road closure or there's a wreck up ahead, you can get a warning. You can get warning about cops too. Like if there's cops up ahead, and that's good to know. So you can just watch your speed or whatever. But the main thing is if there's a road closure or a lane closure because there's a wreck or you you didn't know there was road construction going on, and if someone says, "Hey, yeah, mile marker 32 is backed up for like 3 miles. You might want to try another route, and at least you get a heads up, and you can try to reroute or go around it instead of just getting stuck in it. And I know now we have Waze and all this kind of stuff, but I think the CB is still better because it's instant and it's like you're actually getting someone on there who's actually seeing it. The Waze is kind of weird. I've used Waze, but I don't know. I still prefer a CB. Um, let's see here. West Webb says the cities need to eat. They do not produce their own food. That is true for the most part. West Webb says, AJ, some of that is propaganda. Could be some guy in the back of a limo in a CB. No, I disagree, West Webb. I mean, when you drive across country and you're going through all these different places and you hear all these drivers, I mean, yeah, maybe there could be some guy with a big stick, big antenna, broadcasting out, and it's probably not from a limo CB. It might just be from his basement or something. But for the most part, those are drivers. I'm pretty sure that are spouting bullshit, um, like really racist, usually just really really racist bullshit. Um, all around says nice person. I don't know what that was about. Wes says stirring things up. Wes says sister and brother-in-law. Because always had a CB radio in the car. Lots of people thought they were truckers. Yeah, I mean, you can just get on there and talk like a trucker. You really wouldn't know, I guess. So I guess that's your point, right? But you hear them, especially uh, I don't know, when you're going across country, it's probably drivers. When you're in a town and in a truck stop, it could be anybody. It could be somebody who just lives around the town. I know that happened sometimes too, where you would get someone on a CB who wasn't a driver and they just lived nearby a truck stop and they could just pretend like they were a trucker. Wes says breaker breaker 19. Yep. Breaker breaker 19. Anybody got their ears on? Come on now. Anybody hear me on this whole thing? Come back. Come back now. Breaker 19. Breaker 19. 4. Sometimes instead of saying 10-4, you just go 4. AJX1 says, you're going to like this, TJ. I was pulling into a TS late night and found a pull-through spot, which I will always take over a back end. I do too. As I was pulling in, I noticed someone was backing in, and I flashed. Oh yeah, yeah, that could happen. Hopefully, they stopped and everything worked out okay. Westbeth says the naughty words that can't be said over the air. I guess citizen ban doesn't count. Well, I think that you could get in trouble, but but it is pretty anonymous. Now, there are ways like you can tell if someone's close because of how strong the signal is. You can kind of pinpoint where somebody, like I suppose being law enforcement or whatever, they could probably find someone if they wanted to. But for the most part, it's pretty anonymous, and people do just say whatever they want. But I think you could get in trouble, technically. But it's one of those things I don't really think gets enforced all that much. Julie says, my parents were into CBs when I was a kid. Had one of those huge antennas. They had CB handles. They went to meetups, had a CB handle too. It was Super Brat. That's cute. AJ X1, part 2 of the story of him in the parking spot. Says, then the guy came out and told me to come out, and I said I was here first. Then in the morning, during my pre-trip, that's what that means, I noticed my arm was pulled out. On your fifth wheel, I guess, right? Oh shit! you know, I've heard of that. I've heard of assholes doing that. That's why you always got to do your pre-trip. Good thing you did your pre-trip. Yeah, I've heard of people pulling that arm or just fucking with other drivers. Uh, West Webb says, "Did you have a parking battle, AJ?" Well, it sounds like AJ just said, "I was here first. I'm not moving." Seattle Judy. Hey, there's Seattle Judy. Hello. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for stopping by. We're just in here shooting shit, having some coffee. Hope all is well up there. I think you are up. Your name is Seattle Judy. I think you are up there, right, in the Seattle area. Jolie says even had Super Brat engraved on a name tag for the meetups. It also had a picture of Casper the Friendly Ghost on it too, for some reason. Well, you know what, Jolie? I'm just gonna call you Super Brat from now on. West West says good inspection. Jolie says, "Hey, Sailor Judy, good to see you." Jackie says, "Jolie, too cute." AJ says, "It was a close rumble, but thankfully it didn't, I guess, end up like that, or didn't up like that, but or end up like that." Yeah, things happen in those parking lots. I got in. I think I just got in. I got into a few shouting matches. I never got into actual, throwing blows at anybody. But I think I got into some few, arguments here and there. Trying to think if I ever saw anybody actually get into a fight. But I've seen lots of people yelling and screaming at each other, and it's just a lot of tension, built up tension. I think drivers are under a lot of tension. As truck drivers or stress, and you can get tired, and you still got deliveries to make and miles to go, and then you're trying to get a spot, and all the spots are getting taken up. And I can see, it can get tempers can flare out there in the trucking world. Jolie says it still applies at trucker drill. All right, Super Brat. West Webb says never go to the truck side of a rest area or truck stop. Well, yeah, because it's for truckers, and you shouldn't be over there unless you're driving a big rig. Now, sometimes RVs will go over there, big motorhomes if there's no parking, for them. And I kind of didn't like that. I was like, I don't appreciate this motorhome taking up a spot that a 18-wheeler could be using. Because I think there's more spots for motorhomes elsewhere. So I would kind of resent that, and I didn't like when truckers were bobtailing and they would take a whole spot. I mean, if they could find another spot, they could probably even go to the car side or something. You know, I didn't like that either. So whenever I bobtailed, I would try not to take a full spot, or I would take, or sometimes I guess what happens is bobtails will kind of take the same spot, because there's enough room for sometimes two or three bobtails, and so I would just, if I, and that's cool, that's acceptable. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, I guess. But if you're just like taking your own big spot, and then an 18-wheeler can't get into a spot, that was kind of, bush league. AJX1 says, I can only imagine how trucking is in other countries. No tighter spaces, no HOS. Oh, I don't know. No has tighter spaces. Or maybe they have tighter spaces, etc. Yeah, probably. And I've seen some trucks like rest areas on some of the interstates or highways where whoever designed the truck parking at the rest area, not a truck stop so much, but a rest area where they just didn't design it right and it was way too cramped and really difficult to get in and out of. Like they didn't give enough space between the rows, and it's like there's one in a couple. Well, there's probably more, but I mean, I remember one in New Mexico, right there, um, just past the state line in Arizona on I-40. I think I remember there was. I think they ended up redoing all the parking spaces because originally they just made it way too tight. Um, Seattle Julie said, Judy, sorry about that, didn't mean to change your name. Seattle Judy says, so I'll make this quick. Back in the 90s, my ex was a drummer in a band. He was playing on a Friday night. Break time, as myself and the band were talking, a trucker's CB somehow entered the PA system. Yeah, I think that could happen, especially if someone has a really powerful radio and antenna, and they're driving by close to that venue there. It could break through. It could bleed through. It's called bleeding through. Seattle Julie says he was describing meeting a lady of the night quite colorfully for all to hear. Oh, getting some commercial company. That's what they call that. West Webb says, yep, Seattle Judy, they change the frequencies sometimes around the turn of the century. I guess you meant into the 2000s. Our church used to pick up police and ambulance during the service through our wireless microphones. Wow. Yeah, that's that type of stuff. I remember hearing about that kind of stuff. Charlie says, "Oh no, it's Seattle, Judy." West Webb says they made us replace the whole wireless system. Well, Seattle Judy says we were all red faced. West Webb says old wireless telephones. I would pick up my neighbor's calls. Yeah, I think I recall that too happening. Yeah, like this is like a couple times or something. It's like I guess if you were just in the right spot at the right time, you know. But yeah, those type of things happen. Wes says, didn't the hookers have a separate channel? No, they would go on the trucker channel to get the truckers to pay them a visit or whatever. Um, I can remember when I first started driving across Nevada, out in the mainly out in the hinterlands, not around Vegas, but up I-80 through Carlin, or up the 95. Um, there's these brothels all over the place. And when I first started driving, they were actually open. They actually kind of seems like they've all kind of closed up, or and then COVID seemed to really kill a lot of those places. But you would drive through those towns, little towns where the brothels were, and a lot of times, the girls would get on the CB on Channel 19, and they would be like, "Hey, drivers, come on into the whatever they're called, the Chicken Ranch or whatever. Uh, we got free coffee, free hot showers. They lure you in with the free hot shower. But that was really, really, really common. But I think Nevada mainly where that would happen. Maybe Oklahoma going across 40. Um, Around Amarillo, or was it Amarillo? And then close to OKC, there were some big truck stops there. They used to have lot lizards galore. I mean, it was just probably between Ontario, California, and Oklahoma, like Amarillo, I think Amarillo even more than OKC. Uh, those were probably two or three biggest areas of a concentration of lot lizards that I ever saw. I mean, it was just crawling with them, you know. But then it's kind of weird how in '08, after Obama got elected, so around, well, then we kind of had, because we were coming out of that Bush recession, almost depression, and that really kind of killed the economy for a while. And that really did, when I noticed that that really did make, or where it made it where there was almost no lot lizards anymore, because there was no one was spending money on lot lizards, you know. So they just left and went away and went and found other places, I guess, to work, or they took up some other line of work. I don't know. And my noisy heater. I just turned the heater on for the first time last night. This whole winter, I haven't been using the heater, but last night started getting really cold, so I finally turned the heater on. But around '08, '09, 2010, it seemed like there were really almost no lot lizards like there were when I first started driving, where you couldn't turn around without bumping into one. You know, I mean they were everywhere. Uh, and then by 2010, you almost never seen them. And then after that, it was just very occasional where you see them, at least where I would go. Now, there's probably some places, I think I've heard some notorious places like in Florida and maybe in Houston or something, or certain places where there's a lot of lot lizards maybe. But it was nothing like when I first started driving in the early 2000s, where they were everywhere. And then I even heard, just talking to some of the old time truck drivers, that they would say, like if we were at let's say the Loves in Amarillo, where there's just lot lizards. I mean, they actually were strippers. There was a strip club across the street, and the strippers would come out and just, I mean, they might not have been all strippers, because there were like dozens and dozens and dozens of these girls. They would just go in through the parking lot. You could just see them, and they would just be knocking on everyone's doors and then talking to drivers and stuff. And where was I going with that? Well, then that all stopped by around 2010 or so. I mean, I never saw that again. And but I guess there still are some places where you'll see some of them, but it's not anything like it was. It never did come back or whatever. Seems like, for some reason. And I think drivers changed. I think it's a lot of the old timers were kind of a different breed. You know, really kind of a lot of just, guys on the road and just lone wolves or whatever. And then I think in the 2000s we had a lot of drivers that were like family guys, that were just looking for getting into a new profession, like I did, because they needed to work, and they didn't really come from the trucking industry. Like a lot of drivers were like generations and generations of truck drivers. It was in their family for generations. I think in the 90s and in the 2000s, you've seen a lot of people that have been coming into the trucking industry that had no history of trucking in their family. And so to see lot lizards and stuff like that, it was something that they weren't really interested in, because they had a family at home and they just didn't want to do it. So I think, I don't know, I just think there wasn't the demand, especially after that Bush recession, and then just this new wave of drivers that I guess weren't so interested in that. They didn't want to cheat on their wives or whatever. I don't know. So anyhow, I'd be kind of interested to know AJ X1 is out there on the road. I'm not anymore. I wonder if AJ ever sees I bet you there's the occasional lot lizard, but it's not like when I drove, when there would just be dozens and dozens of them all over the place. At most of your, like, Ontario and Amarillo and places like that. And even those other places, there would still be a few. It wouldn't be as prolific as Ontario. Well, but you would still see them, even out in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes you just see a lot lizard pop up. Let's see here. Wes says, for some reason I was thinking 18 or 20. Well, they might say they might go on 1/9 on breaker, on channel 19, and say, "Hey, drop it down to 18. I'll meet you over there. We can talk." They might have you drop down to another channel just so they're not, because if you're going to get, like, say, in a conversation, you don't want to just hog up the channel too much, or whatever, especially for that type of stuff. AGX1 says, "Remember when there was a glitch in for iPhones and you could FaceTime someone without them accepting the call?" I don't remember that. Westweb says, "I still have trouble getting out of Zoom meetings and Discord. I'm still on after I sign off. Have to restart my computer to make it stop." Huh. Jolie says, "I never heard about that, AJX1. I imagine that could cause quite a few problems." Westweb says, "I have something called anti-beacon that has cut down on my Trojan troll bots." Well, that's good, I guess, right? Westweb says, "Hedge winch." Seattle Judy says, "Sorry to bring up such a subject, but as I was lurking and enjoying the chat, the memory came back." Hey, that's fine. I have no problem talking about it. It's part of what goes on the road. Or at least it used to. Like I said, from 2010 on, it really did kind of dry up, so to speak. Jolie says, "It's all good, Seattle Judy. We cover a wide variety of topics here on the Trucker John Show." That we do. That we do. Last show was all about spiders and bugs, and please don't get. I should not have even brought that up. Let's not go back on that again. Wes Webb says, "I have a friend who repairs trucks and has a CDL, so he can pull the trucks in and out." Yeah. I don't even know if you need a CDL just to drive in a parking lot, but it is nice to know that the guy maybe has some training and can drive the thing. AJX1 says, "Increased cooperation with the feds, increased government regulations, an increase in company drivers and less owner operators." That's what individuals. Yeah, yeah, that the especially that last part. More company drivers, which is kind of what I was talking about, because that wave of drivers that were coming in and have been coming in were more company drivers than owner operators. So that, yeah. Now, I don't know about the increased cooperation with the feds, increased government regulations. I mean, as far as like them cracking down on it if you have like an unauthorized person in your truck or something, maybe in your sleeper, and increase in company drivers. But I think that's the big one right there: the increase in company drivers, because they're different than owner ops. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no different mentality, I guess. And I don't mean to, and I am really generalizing quite a bit there. West Webb says, "A mom of a kid in my class kept boyfriends from off the road. She made the kids go in the other room. They spied and learned the kid got his sister pregnant." That is really awful. I mean, just, you know, that's that's sad, you know. Hegemony, human trafficking. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, there was a big campaign about human trafficking that did start up too, and you saw all the posters like "see something, say something," and there was a lot of numbers posted, phone numbers about if you see if you what you think is human trafficking. Um, so that maybe had something to do with it. I don't know. So Julie says, "Hi, Hegemony." Hegemony West Webb says, "Before legal abortions." So that was before 1973 or whatever. Wow. A mom of a kid in my, oh, it was in your class. So you were classmates. I was thinking that, like, because it was like a student of yours, but okay, whatever. Hedge Enemy says, "Hi." West Webb says, "Hedge wife, road wife." Yeah, I never heard of that before. Hedge Enemy K, AJX1. It's some sort of a sad blue forehead face. Not sure what that means. Kimchi, hey, it's Kimchi. Hello, amazing libs. Hi, Ed Chokadra. Glad to see you in here. Thanks for coming around. We're just shooting the shit, like I do. Seattle G says, just a question. As I see many huge Class A diesel pushers, 35 to 40 feet, do they need a Class A? Because if not, common sense seems they should. Um, if they're using air brakes, an air brake system, and they are over a certain gross vehicle weight, then I believe they do. AJX1 might be able to chime in on that. I forget all the exact requirements. I'm forgetting my shit. Kim, she says, hi, Sailor Judy, AJX1, hi, Genevieve, and Gorgeous at Jolie, otherwise known as Super Brat. Jolie says, hello, beautiful Kimchi. Sailor Judy, RV, oh, like RVs. They need a class, it is like a special designation of Class A. It's like it's a Class A RV or something like that. Yeah, they do, but it's not like it's not the same Class A. They don't get that and then get to drive 18 wheelers. They do have a special RV Class A designation for RVs. Jackie says hi Kimchi. Kimchi says hi dear at Jackie AJX1. I keep an eye everywhere I go. I've told myself that I will do anything I can to get suspicious activity like human trafficking. Not only the trucks, but also four-wheelers and RVs. I never saw any human trafficking when I was out. So. Kimchi says hi Wes. Wes Webb says tourists in those huge RVs who don't know how to drive them make trouble for everybody. Yeah. Kimchi says Class A, nope. Don't have to drive one, but would love to own a Class C. I've seen when I was getting my CDL, I saw RVs at this DMV in Sacramento where they did commercial. This was like a commercial DMV, and I saw big motorhomes, people there with big motorhomes getting their. This is California, so maybe not in West Virginia or whatever, but in California, you have to have and I'm not talking like a 12-foot motorhome. I guess there's probably a certain length, and I don't know what it is, but it's or a certain type of motorhome, like the really big, huge ones, are like tour buses or whatever, or whatever. I saw, but these weren't tour buses. These were like regular motorhomes, and I saw them taking their tests for and I believe it is a class, maybe it's a Class A, but there's a designation that distinguishes it from being like a regular CDL. So in California, there is a requirement at a certain level of RV. I don't know about West Virginia or Washington State or whatever. AJ says non-commercial Class A for those RVs. Yes, a non-commercial Class A. There you go, AJ. That's what I was trying to say. West Webb says Yellowstone years ago, an RV misturned and ended up half in the ditch and half on the road or in the road, blocked traffic forever. Yeah, and I've seen 18-wheelers do shit like that, and I've seen four-wheelers do stupid shit too. Every class of vehicle, you got your dipshits. that either shouldn't be driving or need more training, I guess. Kimchi says, Class A, yes, don't need a special license for RV Class C. Um, yeah, because the Class Cs are the smaller ones, right? I'm trying to remember where they draw the line between a Class A and and a Class C and everything. Jolie says, helps for drug driving live stream. Thank you very much. Buy me a coffee because you know I like my coffee, even when it comes from Del Taco. Kimchi says, I've always wanted to hit one of those sand hills for Runaway truckers, but then the ticket and the payment to tow me out. I don't know why you would want to do that. I really don't, unless you were in a sand rail or something, because you're gonna get in it, and yeah, you're just gonna get stuck or probably fuck up your vehicle too. Um, but I did tell the story a few weeks ago about the guy who burned his brakes out, and there was a truck runaway ramp coming right up, and he had no brakes going down a steep grade, and he had a load of bricks. He was a flatbed, and I'm like, all right, I'm like, this is happening right in front of me, and I'm gonna watch this guy go in the runaway ramp, and he just went right past it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And then there was a hairpin curve. There was the ramp, and then there was a curve that kind of went this way, and then a little bit of a straightaway, and then just past that little straightaway was like a hairpin curve. And if he had hit that hairpin curve, he was going to go straight off of a cliff. And even though they had a wall there, but either would have just, if that wall was strong enough, then he would have just crashed into the wall probably and exploded and died, or he would have crashed through it and gone over a cliff. But when he went past that runaway ramp, and then there was like a little curve, and he was going so fast that little curve, the I don't know, centrifugal force or whatever was enough that it just made him roll, and he rolled right over the guardrail, right over in between another little hill. But like I said, there was a hairpin curve, and the highway was down there. So between this part of the highway and that part of the highway was this. I don't know. I wouldn't even call it a median because it was probably 100 feet wide or something, and it had like, you know, big pine trees and bushes and all kinds of stuff, and he just rolled into that and crashed. And when I ran down there to check on him, I thought I was going to see a dead, mangled body, but the guy barely had a scratch on him. It was just the weirdest thing. And I asked him, why didn't you go? Why didn't you hit the ramp? I go, I was watching you, and he goes, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. He was a brand new driver, just a kid, like a young. I call him a kid. I think he was in the mid-20s. Just got his license. They said this was the first week he was driving. He didn't know what to do, and in my head, I was thinking, oh my God, how could you not know that's what that was for? How could you not know that a runaway ramp is for when you burn your brakes out? You're supposed to hit that ramp. But I figured the guy's gone through a bunch of trauma here. I didn't want to bust his balls, so I'm just like, well, okay, I'm glad you're okay. But and I was lucky that the two other people that ran down there with me, one was a off-duty EMT, and the other one was because we got into a conversation afterwards. The other person was a girl, and she had just gotten out of the army, and she was an army medic. So they had me, old dumb trucker John, who didn't know shit from shit, and then these two, one was a medic in the army, the other one was an EMT, and so they were checking him out, and they were telling him, don't move, don't do anything. They were doing all this shit, and then someone was able to get an ambulance up there and get him out. But like I said, I don't think he barely had a scratch, and but still, I just couldn't figure out why you're going down this grade and you see all the signs, and there were several of those ramps on the way down. This grade is Colorado, and it was like It's like a 13-mile long grade, and you see the signs every few miles. They would have a ramp, a runaway ramp, and it would say, truck runaway ramp 1 mile away or whatever. I never, to this day, I don't understand how, even if you're a brand new driver, how you would not know that those runaway ramps are made for 18-wheelers or any vehicle, I guess, but mainly big trucks. If they lose their brakes, that's where they go. I don't know how you do not know that. It's and the same exact thing happened in Colorado on I-70 about the same time. This was a few years ago. Another driver was going down I-70 down a grade past the Eisenhower Tower and all that shit, or tunnel, where you go into these steep grades. He lost his brakes, and there were runaway ramps he could have used, but instead he didn't take the ramps. He ended up plowing into a bunch of cars and killing a bunch of people. And his same thing was, I didn't know. How do you not know? How do you get a CDL and not know how to use a truck runaway ramp? I do not understand that. There's no excuse for that. I don't give a fuck. There's no excuse. And this other dude killed a bunch of people, and and I think they gave him 10 years or maybe or whatever. I don't know what it was. And people were saying some people were saying he shouldn't have got that. It was an accident, and other people say it was not enough. And I say it was not enough. It's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Anyhow, let me back up. I see Liberdan's back. Thank you, Liberdan. Or Liberty Dan, as I like to call him. Let's see here. Kimchi says, "Hi, dear Liberdan. I have unblocked Wes. So I hope I don't regret it." Joy says, hey, look, and if you can always block him again if you want. I mean, but it's not that big of a deal. Seattle Judy says, I mean, you know what I mean about blocking, unblocking. Seattle Judy says, Class A has a bus type front. Class C has a truck style front as exposed hood visible. Easy way to know. Oh, okay. No regrets. West Web says, college choir tour. We had a bus driver who had a license to drive the bus, but was a grad student. Put us in the ditch. The boys all got out and tried to push it. Didn't work. Yeah, it was heavy. Kimchi says, West Virginia roads are dangerous but fun. I'm a backwoods crazy driver from way back. I bet you are, Kimchi. West Web says, or try. West Web says, I love driving in the country. Kimchi says, 20 miles per hour turns are just suggestions, in my opinion. Liberdan says, a deer ran into my van while my wife was driving in West Virginia. That could be pretty tough because a deer could total a car. Jackie says, Kimchi, we're the best drivers. Oliver Brown, no, my brother was a truck driver for a while and had many crazy adventures. Kimchi says, hi, Oliver Brownlow. West Web says, we have straight roads to go on forever on the prairie. Yeah, I've been on some of those straight roads. It seems like they never end. Liberdan says it didn't die. It just kicked the side of the vehicle. Yeah, those deers. I've hit some deers in my trucking, and or rather, I should say, they hit me. I didn't hit them. They hit me. Because they just come out of nowhere, man. Fuckers. Kimchi says, yeah, Dan, it's amazing how they can walk away. They probably die later, though. West Web says, I had a dog do that once, Liberal Dan. Kimchi says, most of them die later. Not the kicker, though. He was a badass. AJX1 says, I-70 Colorado is treacherous. Yeah, it's a tough one. That grade coming down, westbound there. There's miles of some really steep grades. You just gotta be careful. Downshift. Use your downshifting. Try to stay off the brakes as much as you can. Don't just ride your brake. You gotta let off of it. Let them cool down. And then you can apply those brakes. But you want to gear down into a gear that's gonna help slow the vehicle down, so you're not just riding or hitting your brakes so much. Alvarado says, if you live near Illinois, you know that there are always to get a CDL with minimal study. Huh. Yeah, I don't live near there. AJX1 says, still there is no excuse, especially with injury. I mean, when you lose your brakes and you pass up a truck runway and down that I-70 and down the other highway I was at, there are multiple truck runaway ramps. And this driver that killed those people, he passed, I think, at least 2 or 3 truck runaway ramps before he got in that collision. So he could have ditched it into one of those ramps, but he didn't because he's a fucking moron. And he killed, I think, 3 or 4 people. And so I think the guy should just be put in jail for the rest of his life, just for being a moron, nothing else. He's a danger to society because he's so stupid. Colorado, Kimchi Class A. Most of us cannot afford $1 million RV. Ain't that the truth? West Webb says, Lafayette Brownlow, that's my Illinois. My sister worked for George Ryan. Want a CDL? Just slip him a few K. West Webb says there are videos of deer jumping over cars. Yeah, those motherfuckers can jump. I've seen that. I've seen that firsthand. And some of them are pretty, if they don't hit you, it could, I had at least one experience that I can recall right now. It was in Oregon, Eastern Oregon, going up that highway. I forget the number now. But there was this beautiful buck. I mean, just magnificent. And he was far enough away where I could kind of see him running across the field. And he jumped the fence just like it was nothing. Goes across the highway. And then there was another fence that was even taller. They kind of have, sometimes they put these deer fences up. And I don't think they do any good. Because this motherfucker just, without even breaking a sweat, without even breaking stride, just poof, went right over this, like, had to be at least a 6-foot tall fence. And he just did this, and he was just this magnificent creature. And just went right over it, and just kept on going. And it was really, really amazing. I mean, that's one of the few times where I saw a deer, and it didn't hit me, I didn't hit it, and I was able just to enjoy it, because it was beautiful. It was a beautiful one. Let's see here. Hey, we got Benny Loco. Let's see. Where am I at? Benny Loco says no Jake breaking. Cheers. No, you want to use your Jakes, which we're going down a grade. Absolutely use your Jakes. Kimchi says, hi, dear Benny Loco. Kimchi says it's 424 somewhere. Close enough, right? Benny Loco says, hola, Kimchi. Jolie says, hi, Benny. And back at you there. Benny says, hola, Jolie. Jackie says, Wes, I had a deer jump over my hood. It was crazy. Yeah, those fuckers can jump. That's for sure. They're good jumpers. AJX1 says Kim Kardashian was in heavy support for that guy, by the way. Yeah, because she's also a moron. She's a fucking moron that has no idea what's going on out on fucking highways. Kim Kardashian should just shut the fuck up. Jackie says Benny Loco, Jackie. Terry Taylor, hey. Hi, TT. Glad to see you jumping in here. Kimchi says hi, Terry Taylor. Everyone's saying hi, so I'll kind of skip the highs. We all said hi. West Webb says, I've seen trucks that drove over the top of cars. Dust storms in the desert. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. I've been in some dust storms that were just fucking... You literally can't see past into the truck. And it's scary as fuck. And you don't want to go too slow. You don't want to go too fast. You can't even see if there's a place to pull over. And you just go through it and hope for the best. And then you see people buzzing by you. You're like, what the fuck, man? You literally cannot see past the hood of the car, And they're buzzing by. I mean, I would try to maintain a speed, like 55 or something. I don't know.
Literally, trucks, other cars be going around me at 80, 90 miles an hour, and I don't understand people like that. If you can't see past the end of your truck in any direction, and you're just going to blaze through it. But then I guess maybe the mentality is, hey, if I hit something at 80 or if I hit something at 55, what's the difference? I don't know. But there might be a difference. That might be the difference between killing someone or not killing someone. That might be the difference between you being able to hit your brake on time and maybe avoid an accident and not being able to. You know what I mean? At 55, literally cars, going 80 or 85 or whatever, you might not be able to stop in time if you did see a brake light or something ahead of you. At 55, I think I might have enough time. So that is the difference. So I'm good. I'm better. I'm better than they are. Let's see here. AJX1 says bobcats are some of the most fascinating animals in the world. They can jump extremely high heights with incredible accuracy. Bobcats are amazing. I agree. Beautiful animals. I would not want to have one jump on me and tear my face off, but they are beautiful nevertheless, and good jumpers. Benny Loca says, not on a straightaway. I see Jake braking all the time on straight, flat roads. Amateurs. Well, yeah, they like that sound. They think it sounds cool. Um, you know, those real loud ones that aren't that don't. They have most of them now are muffled, but yeah, those loud ones, and they just drive through town and annoy people because they think it's cool. Kim Chi says, I want to change my name. Kimsby Tripping. Okay, is that what you want to change it to? Kimsby Tripping? Liberdan says, hey, Benny. Benny Loco says, Kim Trippy. Um, Stephanie B2. Hello, Stephanie B2. Thanks for dropping by. We're just shooting the old shit. I came on late. Instead of starting at 9, I started at 10. We'll probably end this at noon. We'll all go watch Randy Rhoads and Nicole Sandler, and then at 3, maybe I'll come back on. Uh, and we can shoot the shit some more at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Where are we at here now? In the chat. Much more highs. I'll skip the highs. I don't need to reread the highs. But everyone say hi. Westweb says, if it is a dust storm, I get off the road as soon as I can. Yeah, that's a good idea. And keep your lights. They say keep your lights on, I believe, or they say turn them off. Oh no, now I might have it wrong. They might. I think they say. Do they say to turn your lights off? Because if you turn your lights on, then someone might think that that's where the road is. Like if you're off to the side, if they see your taillights. Oh, now I forget. AJ, I need you to back me. I need you to, because you're out on the road and you know you're current. And you know all the shit. I'm forgetting my shit, man. When local cold, wet, horrible on the skeletal system. What did I miss about skeletal systems? Um, Kim, she says, yeah, Steph, my C45 is not fond of cold weather. Oh, we're talking about vertebrae, I believe. Benny Nicholas says, Jackie, no, you are the best. Oh, you are the best. You are the best. Taylor says, people are nuts. They just don't care whether they cause an accident. I see it daily. Saw a semi tailgating a very small car going at least 80 or 90. Uh, I know, I hate those fuckers to do that. And even though it's a fellow trucker, it's it's not called. It's uncalled for. You're supposed to keep a safe distance, and because you want to go 80 or 90, it doesn't give you a right to push. Basically, try to. You're almost like pushing someone off the road. I mean, look. There's probably not the speed limit probably isn't that high anyhow, so you're breaking the law there. You can back it off and wait till the lane clears, and then when you want to do your 90, you can do your 90. It's not going to kill you, the truck driver, if you got to back it down to 70 or something for a few minutes while that guy gets over or the lane or clears up or whatever. I just hate I just think these are I don't know. I just think they're like speed freaks, or they've just got issues where they can't slow down for 2 seconds. And yeah, it pisses me off too. Terry Taylor, I'm with you on that. Let's see here. Stephanie wants to know when Benny Loco is going live next. MJ Daniel. Hey, MJ. Thanks for being here. Out cruising at night in high school, late 70s, there were a few people who liked their cars to sound loud and tough. Well, it's one thing to have a car that, maybe has a big motor, and you got, glass packs, and or these loud mufflers, or they whatever they do, they uncap their mufflers. Um, yeah, and that is one thing. But for truck drivers that turn on their truck brakes, their engine brakes, otherwise known as Jake brakes, and they're just on flat land, and they're going through a city, or something, and those old unmuffled ones, they could be really really loud. I even heard a story once where a guy who was like I don't know, I think Afghanistan war vet, and he had PTSD or something, and one of those trucks went by with their Jake brakes went off, and the guy went ape shit. He thought he was back in Afghanistan. It sounded like guns going off to him. So that's not cool. Benny Loco's going on later today. We might be competing. I don't know. West Webb says, I just noticed that I woke up around 10:30 last night and announced that I had not fallen asleep. Okay. It's good to know. West Webb says, sometimes I might be here, but I am really not. I believe that. West Webb says, I sleep with all you guys. 72 says, cool. Hope I catch you. Stupid kid. Pancreatitis is acting up. I had pancreatitis in 2015. The reason I know that so well, I can remember that so well, is because it was 2015, and that's when I was a company driver with Schneider, and I was just, I guess, maybe a few weeks or a couple of weeks away from. I think I was just like a week away or a couple of weeks away from getting my new truck, the truck that I had just had, this Freightliner, and I was going to be an owner operator or an independent contractor actually. And I came down on the road. I was in Casa Grande, Arizona, and I started getting really, really sick. And I was in my truck, and I remember I stopped and I parked, and I was like, I'm just going to get some sleep. I'll be better in the morning. But I just kept getting worse and worse. I had a fever, and I was sweating, and then I started vomiting. And I'm not a vomiter. I'm really not a person who vomits a lot. So if I do vomit, that means I am really, really, really sick. And I kept vomiting, and it became where I was just vomiting like there was nothing there. It was just bile, I think you call it. And I was just throwing up into bags. I just was using plastic bags to throw up into. I didn't even have anything to throw up into, but I kept throwing up. So then I was like, and it wasn't getting better. I was trying to just rest or sleep, wouldn't get better. So then I drove my 18-wheeler about, I think, 10 miles. I found a hospital. I parked it in a Home Depot across the street from the hospital, parked my truck, locked it up, walked my ass into the emergency, and I said, I'm sick, and I'm just been vomiting like all night. And they're like, okay, take a seat. And so I'm taking a seat, and then sitting there for like 20 minutes, and I'm feeling like I'm gonna vomit. I'm feeling sick. And then all of a sudden, I feel the urge to vomit. I just grabbed a waste bucket, and I right there in the waiting room, right in front of their little desk, whatever, I just vomited into this trash can. And then they were like, "Come and get this guy." And they rushed me. They put me on a gurney. They rushed me back into ER, into their examining rooms, and they just started doing like all kinds of shit, scans and EKGs or whatever, blood tests. I mean, they as soon as I vomited in the trash. So if you ever want to get quick service, I guess in an ER, just vomit into a trash can. Maybe that'll work for you. I don't know. Yeah, it it came down to they said you have pancreatitis. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And they kind of explained it. It's like enzymes and glucose. I don't know, whatever. And I ended up being in the hospital for I think it was 2 nights, and it was like the third day. And then one of the nurses came in and said, and I was starting to feel better and everything. And they said, "Do you want if you want to get out of here? I suggest because I was hooked up to an IV, and they were like, just you can take your IV around and just start walking around the hallways, and the doctors will see you walking around." So I started because I was ready to go after that on that third day. I wanted to get out and get back on the road, and then they were so I did that. I started walking around with my little gown on, and trying to keep my ass from not poking out. And then within like a couple hours, I was released. But I had pancreatitis, and it sucked, and I hope I never get it again. Where did I leave off? It says that's 72. Yeah, pancreatitis. Ben Nicholas says 40 generations of truckers in my family, safety first. Ben Nicholas says all stuff feel better known. AJ1 says company trucks have auto jakes at a certain speed. Yeah, they're putting those on, and but they're also usually muffled. They're not like those old Peterbilts or whatever, that be like those really loud ones that sound like machine guns and that sets the guys with PTSD up. The newer trucks. It's a whole different kind of ball game. MJ Daniel says the way many people drive here in Olympia, Washington is insane. I sometimes drive a good 10 miles an hour over the limit and get passed all the time. I know. It's just never enough for some people. 72 says my aunt and uncle owned a trucking company hauling tomatoes, etc. Kimchi says, what the fuck is a Jake? They just call them, I don't know how they got Jake brakes, but it's engine brakes. And basically, when you set those on, when you when you just let off the gas, it'll send. I don't know how it works exactly, but it'll slow everything down without you having to hit your brakes. And you can do that to a certain point where then you'll have to hit your brake. But it saves you from having to use your brakes and burn your brakes up. Basically, it's supposed to be when you're if you're going down a grade, it's supposed to save you from burning your brakes out. So it'll slow you down a little bit to a certain point. You know. Westweb says every piece of me is falling apart, but there is always somebody worse off. And somebody who says sucks. Benny says I do not compete with fellow tubers. Okay, I was just kidding. I give you all most of the airtime. I was just kidding about that. Kimchi says my first husband died of pancreatitis, and the other died of liver disease. I don't drink. Wow. You know what? I had pancreatitis, and then, like I said, I was in the hospital for 3 days, 2 nights, 3 days, I guess. And I remember, then I went to this orientation when I got my truck with Schneider. And they put you up in a hotel, and they always have you a room with another person. So I had this other guy that we shared a room because we were both getting trucks. And he said something like his sister was a nurse, and he was saying like he was like kind of scaring me. He goes yeah, because I told him how I just got over pancreatitis, and he was like, man, you got to be really careful because if you get it a second time, you'll probably die. And I was like, oh fuck. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, I've never gotten it a second time. Hope I never do. And now Kim Chi says she's had a husband that died of it. So yeah, this shit's just serious shit, man. 72 gets nauseous and everything. Yeah. Westweb says you're a Saint Benny Loco. Benny Loco says if you vomit, I'll vomit too. Okay. Um, let's see here. Kimchi says, "Oh my god, I have to take on ondansetron. Take pain pills. They make me sick. Benny Loco, take a seat and vomit there. Yeah, that's basically what I did. Westweb says House Sparks did did a I think it'd be improv routine about vomiting. It was not really funny. Terry says, of course, people tailgate all the time. It's one of the most common and dangerous traffic violations. Unfortunately, not enough get pulled over for it. Laughing out loud, I'd really be busy if I were a cop. I know. I'm always seeing people do stupid shit, and I'm always like, I hope that guy gets a ticket. But they never do. Does not handle vomit, but can clean up shit and guts. Benny Loco says that. Um, 72 says, if you fake fainting, my aunt does that to get in faster. 72 says, I was in USSF for 37 days. Wow. That's a long time. That's a long haul, man. B2, oh, Jackie 72, I wrote that in my notes. Jolie says, RER just hands people a vomit bag and they sit in the wait. So that little ploy wouldn't work. It wasn't a ploy. I mean, I didn't, it just happened. But I guess it doesn't work there. Waiting room, just puking their guts up. Oh my gosh. Gross. West Webb says, I used to take my old choir director places. She had a cane and later a walker. We always got in front of the line. Terry says, oh my God, poor thing. Sounds horrible, causes pancreatitis. I think for me, it's just shitty diet, eating too much. Because I remember when that happened, I think I had just eaten a bunch of greasy food somewhere. And I think it's just horrible diet of me just eating greasy food all the time on the road. Like greasy fast food bullshit. I think that's what it did. I think that's what happened. And I remember after that, I went on this little kick. I was eating salads and stuff for a while, and then that lasted about I don't know, a couple months. And I was back to eating but I don't know. I try not to eat too much of that, but I still do. As you notice, I had Del Taco this morning. Um, but Del Taco is pretty good. They're fresh, never frozen. West Webb says, "Is it compressed air?" I don't know. Maybe 72 says, my pancreatitis was caused by drinking, but I quit 34 years ago and it's still here. Um, I don't know if mine was from drinking because I know I guess I drank pretty heavily. I guess in my early 20s, um, for maybe 4 or 5 years of, but it was mainly like weekend partying type drinking. So I don't know if that did damage to my pancreas. Maybe I don't know. They didn't say that when I was in the hospital. They just were talking about, I don't know, enzymes and shit. I don't know. West Webb says a compression release engine brake, compression brake, or decompression brake, frequently called Jacob's brake or Jake brake. There you go, West Webb. Thank you very much. 72 says I had stones, a pseudocyst, and blocked everything. Ugh. West Webb says they made a loud sound if you're going fast, but the trucker doesn't hear it. The trucker hears it. The trucker hears it. Hegemony says, I have a. Oh, Hegemony has a funny vomit story. All right, let's hear it. Kimchi says, we knew I had gallstones when I walked in the yard, but the cardiologists and rollers had everyone else needed to make their money in 4 days too. I guess so. Uh, Stephanie B2 says, I used to work by a corner where all the trucks would release air from their brakes. Loud and annoying. Uh, yeah, I guess when they're parked. AJX says, I think a slight decrease in sodium may help, but I'm not a doctor. Yeah, that's probably true. That is probably true. I need to stop adding salt so much. 72 at a transmission shop, not in a corner. Yeah, those could be kind of loud, letting out the air. Kimchi says, yeah, where have you been? Oh, there's Seha. Oh, there's Seha. Hello, Seha. Thanks for stopping by. We're just shooting the shit here, talking about. Now we've kind of transferred into a lot of medical issues. Looks like all around though, it's very hard not to tailgate if a road becomes congested. Yeah, but then at least maybe there's slower speeds, and you slow it down a little bit. Road food is toxic, says Benny Loco. Kimchi gallstones, 40 fat female fecund. That was me. Um, West Webb says, I think they are not supposed to use Jake in town. No, they're not. And sometimes you'll see signs that'll say, no Jake brakes or no engine brakes in town or in this area. 72 says, yeah, I'm 96 pounds and they tell me not to eat fat. Oh wow. Yeah, just barely keeping any fat on you at all. Probably no fat on you at all. Uh, Kim, she says, my husband gained 30 pounds when he quit drinking. His diabetes went away completely. Well, even though he ate tons of candy. Uh, I mean, I'm 96 pounds on the left side of my hot body. 72 says, yeah, 2020 sucked. It's a lot better than it was. Kim, she says, 181 pounds of cushion for the pushing. There you go. Everyone seems to be laughing at that. Wes says, it's old hold time. Hey, say ha. Hope you are more well than the rest of us old folks. 72 says, I finally got my Kate Farms supplement drink, 500 calories. Huh. I've never heard of that. What's Kate Farms supplement drink? Is that like, what's that thing that old people drink? This is little drinks. Anyhow, Andrea, hey, there's Andrea, back in the store. Got your supplies. Hope you're all stocked up and ready to ride that storm out. So be careful. The storm. Just hopefully you can just stay indoors and get your provisions and just ride it out. Everyone is saying hey to Andrea. The wind has gotten worse, says Andrea. Yeah, so it's picking up. Yeah, just stay inside and make some hot cocoa with marshmallows on top and chat with us for a bit. For about 10 more minutes, and then I think I'll sign off. I'm going to come back on later on. I need to get those watch hours up, folks. We're trying to get to 3,000 in the last 365 days. So watch, watch, watch. I'd appreciate it. If you see a video of mine that pops up in your feed, go ahead and watch it. You'll probably you'll probably find it amusing. Probably. Or if not, you know, have it playing in the background. Ensure, yes, Oliver Brownlow, ensure. That's what I was thinking. Oh, and Wes Webb says ensure. Yeah, I was thinking that. That's what I was thinking. Benito says, I wonder if my Florida home will blow away this time. Great way to get rid of the squatters. Yeah, that might work. Kim She says, the rain is blowing in a 3-inch crack in the window for the pot smoke. Sick of the rain. You need to make a little chimney for your pot smoke. Uh, Kim She says, I drink Boost if I forget to eat something. AJX1 says, I've always been curious about supplement drinks and their benefits. Me too. Stephanie B2 says, it has superfoods and everything I need for vitamins and minerals plus 30 grams of protein. So is that like, I used to drink like every now and then, and I like it, those naked, what's it called, naked juice? And they have like the green machine or whatever. And I actually like those, but I pretty much have to just guzzle it all down in like one thing. I can't just like sip it. I just gotta drink. But I think it tastes pretty good. And that's supposed to have a lot of superfood stuff in it. Kim, she says, Kate Farms, I will check it out. 72 says, just using it in my coffee, I've gained 6 pounds. Wow. That's good, because you need the pounds. Seha says, not well, unfortunately, good days and bad days. Doc put me on a time clock for time left. Oh, wow. Okay, well, hope for the best there for you. B2 says it's pea milk. Wow. I didn't know you could milk peas. Oliver Brownlow says can't beat West Webb to an answer. West Webb says I lost 45 pounds during COVID, kept it off except for about 7 to 12 pounds that keep coming on and off. Yeah, you gotta stay on that, Wes. Kim she says Oliver Brownlow, and if you do, he will automatically argue the opposite, just for fun, just for shits and giggles. Andrea says hi at 70. AJX1 says I love the way Essentia drink taste. Essentia. I don't think I've ever tried that. What is Essentia? Is that like a juice? 72, Benny Local, I used to own some houses in Oklahoma and it was hard. Kimchi says, okay, don't want to gain weight, laughing out loud. There's Andrea in there giving love to Jolie and Kimchi. West Web says, low, laughing out loud. Old mom and dad, now gone, Oliver, but I know a lot about taking care of old folks. Insure. Insure. Is that what you meant when you said Essentia? I've always thought about getting insured because I thought it was supposed to be good for your joints or something. And I am old, so I think I fit the whatever just the for insure what people who drink insure. It's supposed to be old, and so I fit that category. And my joints aren't that great, so I thought insure was supposed to be good for your joints. But I never really have. I don't think I've ever drank it. I remember my dad used to buy it. I think, and he used to have it in the fridge when I go visit him. But I never tried any because I was still in my 40s or maybe 50s at the time. I don't know. No, I don't know. How old was I then? Just turning 50, maybe. So I didn't think I was old enough for insure. But he says, Steph, I need to get them out. I'll get back there one day. Get them out, Benny Loco. Get them out. Wes says I do not about arguing and stuff like that. Kimchi says, thereby proving my point, laughing out loud. Benny Loco says, good old Ovaltine. I like Ovaltine. I've drank plenty of Ovaltine. I'll drink me some Ovaltine. I've been drinking that since I was a little kid. So, Terry Taylor says, everyone's body is different and how food and drink affect it. But that said, everything in moderation, I guess, that can be difficult though, depending. Yeah, I agree. Moderation is good. Bicycle Mike. Hey, Bicycle Mike. Hey, Trucker John and Chad. Bicycle Mike, happy belated birthday. I think I saw it was your birthday yesterday. So, happy belated birthday. You don't look a day older than you did yesterday. Kimchi says that it sure tastes like chalk, in my opinion. Boost tastes like a shake. Oh yeah, I think I've seen Boost. I don't think I've ever had it. I think I've seen the Boost. West Webb has bad joints, and then everyone's saying hi to Bicycle Mike. As we shoot the shit here for another 5 or so minutes. Stephanie B2 says, Benny Loco. One of my renters stole the stove oven, refrigerator, hot water heater, all of it. Oh, yeah. They'll do that sometimes. Yeah. And I know that your security deposit probably wasn't enough to cover all that, but hope you had a good security deposit at least. Maybe that might pay for a stove or something. Benny says, oh my God, Steph. Basketball 42, hey, Jackie, Kim, and Jolie. Everyone's saying hi. Base Mike says, thank you, John. 72 says, that's when I said, that's it, I'm done. Yeah, especially when you're kind of absentee like that, it's hard to keep up on it unless you have a property management company. I mean, unless you were in Oklahoma. I'm assuming that you were not, but maybe I shouldn't assume because you know what happens when you assume. Wes says, hell, all hell, the old gang is here. And I'm saying hi to Bicycle Mike. And let's see here. Bicycle Mike 42 says, Premier makes a banana cream protein drink. It's delicious. Premier. Can you get that at any store or do you have to like special order that shit? West Webb says, happy birthday, dear Mike. Happy birthday to you. I think he's probably singing that. Bicycle Mike says, hey, Stephanie. They were Section 8. Okay, so yeah, I've dealt with Section 8s, and really the only good thing about that, well, whoever stole that should never be on Section 8 again. They're going to be X'd out of the program, and you do get Oh, it's almost like a guaranteed portion of your rent being paid by Section 8. That's kind of handy. And I don't know if there's some action that you could have taken through Section 8 to maybe prosecute that person if you wanted to pursue that. Say how says, don't smoke them bad joints. No, don't. Peter Lucas says, my wife can't make a chocolate pie, but she can sure make my banana cream. But boom. West Web says, I'll say how I can only vape or do edibles. 70, I mean, Basil Mike at Rite Aid. Huh, so I'll have to check that out. Because if something's delicious, I'm there. Damn Steph about the renters. 72 says, my uncle was supposed to keep an eye on the management company, but he owned a bar and the booze got the best of him. And that does happen, doesn't it? AJX1 says, oh, yes, bananas, a cream, always a treat. Hey, there's Zofia Maslani. Hello, thanks for being here. Thanks for dropping by. Hi, everyone. First time I'm here. Well, thank you so much. First timer. How'd you hear about the show? And thanks for being here. Thanks for dropping in the chat. Everyone say hi to Zofia Maslani. Basketball 42 says, Willy Weed this morning is my choice of smoke this morning. Willy Weed. Um, there's the hugs and to Sophia, and everyone's laughing and clapping and saying hi. West Webb says, I have a friend trying to sell a condo in Texas. She had Section 8 tenants. I think that she got them out. We can get them out. See, the thing is, my ex, the reason I know a little bit about Section 8 is my ex owned, when we were together, and she owned a lot of houses, bought houses, and rented out a lot of them to Section 8. And, there's pros and cons to it, definitely. But it is kind of a good way, if you have a bunch of houses to rent, to fill those vacancies. And you do get a really big portion. In some cases, it's almost like all of the rent is just paid automatically by that Section 8 program. So you don't have to worry about them being late on the rent and shit. Well, the bad thing is that most of them are assholes and they don't take care of shit. but they do have they are subject to inspections by Section 8, and they could lose their Section 8 voucher or whatever it is, if they're asked if they trash places, So they do bear some responsibility too. Basketball Mike, Willie Nelson, Sativa, West Webb, Hazelfia, we are all old YouTube friends here. Pretty much, yeah. Did Kimchi say she was leaving? See you, beautiful people. Oh, Randy. Okay. Oh yeah, it's 12:01. Kimchi is going to moderate over there, so she's got to go. She'll be coming on. Randy will actually be coming on at 12:02 in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes from now will be Randy Rhodes. Let me just catch up on the chat, and then we'll probably sign off, and then I'll come back on at 3. Says 72. Silly me thought that by having Section 8 it would be guaranteed payment, but the renters didn't appreciate it. Yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, there's pros and cons, and we had a lot of good renters and we had bad renters. We had assholes. I mean, yeah, but that's pretty much, I think, whether they're Section 8 or not, you kind of run into that with good renters and bad renters and everything. 72. I read that. West Webb hasn't got condo fixed up. She lives up there. Okay, I'm just gonna skip through that real quick. AJ1 and I smoked some Jack here years ago and felt my soul escape in my body. All right, guys. So I don't think Hal's gonna be on today, right? I think he's off. No show at all today. So I was gonna do a 3 o'clock today. If you guys want to come back and we can shoot some more shit. We're just gonna be shooting shit for from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So adjust accordingly to wherever you're at. Okay, guys. Thanks for being here so much, man. It's really awesome to see you guys in my chat. I love seeing all y'all in there, and it's really fun. It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for you guys, but it's fun for me So I appreciate you being here. And if you guys aren't doing anything else, and you're online looking at YouTubes and stuff, stop on by, and we'll be here 3 p.m. Pacific. All right, guys. Talk to you later.